What's up, gamers? It's your boy, The Thickness. Today, we got something a little different for you. Now, usually, I'm posting some gameplay clips on here, you're getting some dubs, a couple L's in there too, but you know what? I thought, we'll do something a little different. I am a huge fan of anime and manga, and so what I want to do is I want to just mix up the content a little bit. So, we're going to discuss some manga that I'm currently reading that just updated recently. So, minor spoiler warning. I'm going to try and stay away from most things, but if I have to talk a little bit about what's going on in the story, I will. But this is your spoiler warning, so don't get mad at me. Alright? So, first up, we have Jujutsu Kaisen Chapter 154. So, going up into this point, they found this underground fighting ring, and Yuji and Megumi are attempting to try and talk to the boss. So, some things that happened during this chapter is we've learned about this third year, I believe she is. I'll correct myself in the editing. Kirara? I don't know how to pronounce some of these names, so I apologize. Kirara. Where what happened was Panda was trying to enter the room where this underground boss guy lives, but the door kept moving ahead of him. So she has some kind of curse technique. I don't know if it's like alters reality around her in a sense, because later we see once Megumi and Panda are discovered by her, they're trying to catch her. Panda can't catch her because she keeps going farther away, but Megumi and his wolf are actually stuck together. They can't go too far, and it's almost like she creates a boundary. She almost kind of similar to like Law's Devil Fruit in One Piece, how she controls this boundary around her, and if you're marked by like these little stamps she put on them, she can control what you do within this boundary. It's very interesting. Sweet note, Megumi hiding in people's shadows. Like a little assassin. This is amazing. I loved these little scenes in there. And my other scene I loved was Panda eating the fish sausage. But he comes up, he's like, "Do you think he eats fish sausage?" And then like a couple panels later, it's just like, "Thank you for the sausage." And last and certainly not least, Yuji was presented with a 1 million yen a month for an hour work a day. An hour work a day. I haven't done the math. I'm going to calculate it right now. Once I figure out how much a yen is worth in Canadian dollars. 1 yen to CAD. Okay. Maybe I'll just go a million. Okay, so that's equal to $11,000 a month. $11,328. So, all intents and purposes, we'll say $11,400. So, he works an hour a day. Let me just get my calculator. He works an hour. So, 11,400 divided by 30. Because we'll just average month, we'll just say 30 days. Right? That dude makes $380 an hour. Let's just think again. $380 an hour Canadian. 1 million yen a month. I'm in the wrong business. I'm in the wrong work. Who needs to go to school? I just need to hit up this guy. He's going to give me the money. But that's kind of the cliffhanger we're left off with, was Yuji talking to this guy was going to confront this guy, and this guy pretty much just offered him this insane amount of money. So, we'll move on to the next one, My Hero Academia Chapter 322. Leading up to this, we've seen Class 1A desperately try and reach Deku and try and get him to reason that they want to help him. So this is the time when we finally see them kind of break into him. But the incredible panels with him and Bakugo, with Deku and Bakugo, where you see the weight of what Deku's putting on his own shoulders, with these eyeless pictures of his like soul is disappearing because he's putting all this pressure and weight on him, right? But then with these panels, Bakugo standing there and telling Deku what he thought about him as a child, and he was explaining how he essentially hated Deku because Deku didn't have powers, but for some reason in Bakugo's mind, he always thought he was looking down on him. He always thought Deku was a higher being for some reason, and he hated it. So to see this vulnerability is really what kind of brings Deku to his senses, that these people really care and these people want to help. Which leads into the crowd at UA, who do not want Deku in there for justifiable means. They don't want the guy that's literally the target of the people destroying their world to come to where they're being safe. But that is where the greatest quote in this series, in my opinion, has come up. Which is, what was the exact quote? I saved the picture because I'm big brain up here. Because when heroes need protecting, who will be there to protect them? Which is something they haven't really touched on, because so far the heroes have been able to capitalize on everything and been able to kind of keep things in the balance. But now things are really weighing with, the people kind of revolting against heroes, and the villains essentially kind of taking over the world, and the heroes only have like this small little domain where they kind of have somewhat of a grasp to keep things safe. So it's gonna be very interesting. I'm gonna butcher her name. I know I'm gonna butcher her name. Uraraka. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Uraraka. It's gonna be interesting what she has to say to the crowd in the next chapter, so I'm stoked to see that. Next, Black Clover, chapter 302. First off, Asta fanboying over everybody helping out and being so strong. The face he makes is just kind of funny, and I love that little comedic background that he can pull in. But like the major thing here with everyone trying to fight Megecula, that's who it is, Megecula. They're all just kind of fighting Megecula right now, so it's been really interesting to see their struggle. I don't think this fight is as good as versus the Magna versus Dante fight. I loved that fight. That was amazing. I can't wait to see that animated. But this fight I've been enjoying, but at the end of the chapter, when Nozzle shows up, looking just like this man's about to bring the pain. And literally how he says that he's been waiting forever for this. He's been waiting so long to get his revenge. I'm excited for the next chapter. Next up is Mashal, chapter 73. This is kind of like the cooldown from the big tournament arc. We learned that Mashal has 5 siblings. The man that literally pretended to fly by moving his legs really fast has 5 siblings, and it's interesting that they say siblings and not like brothers or anything, which means that we could see brothers and sisters, and it's gonna be interesting because they're all high-ranking wizards. So it'll be interesting to see what exactly they can do. And then, of course, the funny parts at the end where they're talking about how like it's going to be like really difficult to fight Zero. He goes on, it's like a 50-50 chance. I win or I lose. But, and then he starts flexing. He's like, these bumps never fail me, so that puts me at 100%. These muscles never fail me, so that puts me at 100%. Entirely reminds me of the line from Anchorman where he's just like, 60% of the time it works, all the time. And then lastly, we learned at the end that Mashal is failing school, and apparently is 1 point away from failing, and it just shuts him down. And that's the great comedic effect in Mashal, and that's why I love it so much. So I'm stoked to see what's happening next. After that, we have The Four Knights of the Apocalypse, chapter 26. Nothing too much. This was kind of more buildy in a sense. They're still teasing on who the Fox character is. I have a couple. There's a couple things in my mind. First off, the Fox sin was Bon in the 7 Deadly Sins, so it could be somehow related to Bon. Could also be related to Merlin, because right now we kind of see Merlin as one of the bad guys as she's with Arthur, and they want to get rid of these Knights of the Apocalypse. But Merlin has shown to work both sides, so I'm really leaning towards that it's something involving Merlin. And then the drinking competition between Hauser and, I'm probably going to butcher his name too, Nassians. I always called him Niacins for some reason, but Nassians. so big brain, because Hauser doesn't know Nassians isn't affected by poisons, so therefore alcohol won't affect him. This is the greatest thing ever. Like, the fact the boy went up just like, yeah, let's drink. And Hauser's like, yeah, well, I got the most spirit in the bar. But he doesn't realize this guy's immune to poisons. He's going to win regardless. And then the end kind of left us at a little bit of a cliffhanger involving Donnie and his training with Hauser, because Hauser is Donnie's uncle. So we kind of have to wait till the next chapter to really see what's going to unfold from the whole plan, so I won't talk too much about it. And last but not least, One Piece. Chapter 1021. Robin finally shines. Like, Robin has, like, this demon mode? This is wild. I feel like we've only really touched on Robin's devil fruit and her abilities kind of very loosely throughout the story, in my opinion. So to see her really get this point and fight Black Maria and just dominate, absolute body her with this demon mode, which I wonder if has a little bit of armament hockey, hence the color change, where she actually has black skin. What could be along with armament hockey with this change, which would be sweet. I hope we get to learn more about that eventually. The move, Grand Jacuzzi Clutch. Like, look at this. Look at this image. This is amazing. This is one of the reasons I love One Piece. Oh, man. Okay, and lastly, the very end of the chapter, Momo wants Shinobu to use his devil fruit to age Momo. Because Momo thinks if he ages, he might be able to become a big dragon with his smile fruit that he has. But Shinobu mentions that his mind will still be a child. So it's going to be interesting to see, because I feel like they're really building up Momo for this point where he's going to overcome his being scared, being a scaredy cat of everything. And he's finally going to have that moment. Like, I don't think he's going to be the one to land the finishing blow on Kaido, but I do think he will have a shining moment in the help to defeat Kaido somehow. But gotta wait for the next chapter to see what happens. So, but that is everything. That is the manga that recently just updated, that I'm following. I'm following a lot of others. They haven't updated. As soon as they update, I'll update you guys too. So this will be something I'll keep on going. So, you like today's video, like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Let me know what other mangas I should read and be talking about. You want to know what my opinions are of these mangas? Let me know about that too in the comments. Without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next one.